Machine.
Hi there, it's Wee Claire here, and welcome to Hot Pod Time Machine. This is the podcast where we talk about a decision from your past that changed your future. And I'm here with the wonderful Aliona Baranova. She is amazing. Hello, my dear. Thank you for joining
Hello.
me. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I'm very excited. This is my first podcast.
No way. Have we just broken your podcast virginity?
You have. This is my first videoed interview as well.
No way. Okay, I feel a sense of pressure to make it really good. But you know what? We'll be very gentle with you. Jen did this podcast, and it was so fun. I think we ended up breaking into accents at one
Oh, yes.
point. Oh my god! But before we start, I'm not going to make you do a funny accent. But before we start, you know what this podcast is about. So let's just start right there. What is the decision from your past that changed your future?
Okay. I'm going to paint a picture. Can I paint a picture?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's summer after, so I did a degree in psychology. I did my degree. And that summer, at the start of the summer, me and my friends had all been to Glastonbury Music Festival. Have you been?
Never, because I don't like being in the mud and like I like hotels and I like showers. Like
valid.
Go on, Glastonbury.
But when you go Glastonbury, like there is this beautiful community. It's gonna sound like I'm talking like I'm someone who's been to Burning Man. There is like I don't know, this beautiful community where you all camp together for 4 nights or 5 days, and people start to like, you just bump into people and you share a beer, and there's all these wild adventures that happen all night into the early morning, and there's such like a sense of community, and there's also music there. So that happened earlier in the summer. Finished my degree, and me and my friends are hanging out one hot night in the summer. I think it was like August or something. It was August.
Right.
And I had no clue what I was going to do with my life at that point. That's the summer when you finish your degree, and in September you should be starting a job. And I had nothing planned. All I knew is that I wanted to act, but I wasn't sure how I was going to make that happen. Okay. So, and I'd already, so like people were still gatekeeping information about how to get into a drama school. It's only recently, since like TikTok, that people are really forthcoming with how the audition process works. So I'd auditioned for just one drama school and didn't get in because I auditioned with a script from, have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
Love, very heavy film, but I saw it in the cinema when it came out. Yeah.
I love that film. I don't think I could watch it anymore. I think the world changed and I can't handle things that are so like heavy and dark. But I'm taking us on a real roundabout of this story, but I promise I still have a question.
Love it. This podcast is about going on a journey, so go for it.
Great. Ellen Bernstein, the mum.
Yes.
Right.
She's incredible.
So, isn't she? And I remember there's like this fact when she, like one of those trivia facts about the film, when she gave the monologue sat at the table, the camera tilts at one point, and it's because the cameraman started to cry.
No way.
Beautiful. At her monologue.
Oh my god. That's
the one where she
and they kept it in. I can't remember because I couldn't see that film again after I saw it in the cinema. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, it's just this fun trivia fact that it's super subtle, but it does tilt. I think it does. I think I've watched it on YouTube and been like, oh yeah, it does.
Oh my god, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Isn't it?
Yeah, go on.
No. So I chose that as a monologue for getting into drama school, but I'm not. I'm still not in my 60s, and then I wasn't in my 60s. So, or maybe she's in her 50s. I don't know how old she is, but I chose that and did it, and then my feedback was maybe you should choose stuff more your own age range. But I didn't know that's how you do it back there. I don't know, like maybe I was just a dum-dum, but I didn't do it right, basically.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't get into the one place I applied. So it's the summer, and me, like some of my friends are starting jobs in September. I have no clue what I'm doing. Other people are going traveling, and we've all been reunited. Like these are friends from home for the first time since uni, and we all go, okay, well, we don't know what we're doing, but while we're all still together, why don't we like act like we were at Glastonbury and just go on a crazy adventure? Let's see where the night takes us and just do something. We're all like, yeah, let's do it. And there was like 8 of us probably. So we hopped on a night bus. No, it wasn't night yet. No, we hopped on like, this is in London. We just hopped on a bus and we're like, where are we going? We don't know. We went upstairs on a double decker, and it's just taking us through the city. And then we see fireworks going off in the distance, and this was Blackheath area. And we were like, let's get off here. There's fireworks. Let's do that. So we all jump off. No idea why. We just decide fireworks is a sign. This is where the adventure is leading us. And then the fireworks stop, and we're like, oh, okay, now what do we do? And someone's like, let's go through Greenwich Park, because they're next to each other. Because it was locked at that time.
Sure.
So we thought, this is adventure. Let's go through Greenwich Park. There's sometimes deer in there, things like that. Let's do that. So go through. No, we couldn't climb over. No, the gate was too high, I think, or there was a ranger. So we didn't go through Greenwich Park, but we're like, okay, well now we're near the River Thames. Let's go to the River Thames. I swear, Claire, there is a point to this story. I haven't forgotten my point. The way you're like, where is this going? So we go down to the River Thames in Greenwich, and at this point everyone's been drinking, and one of my friends starts like looking across at Canary Wharf and crying about like this like his name's Dan, and he was like, this is my city, this is where I grew up. And I was like, that's weird, I'm gonna go see what my friends over here doing.
Sure.
And my friend Emma sees a couple and starts taking photos of them, like, you're the most gorgeous couple I've ever seen, can I take photos? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then there's this guy, and this is where my point leads. There's this guy that sat on the corner holding a can of beer next to the river, and it's nighttime, and it's, I don't know, I think it was like a Sunday night, Friday night, I can't remember. And he's on his own. Emma runs up to him, he's got grey hair, and she ruffles his hair, and she's like, ha ha ha, ruffling your hair, hope you're having a great night. And I was like, oh no. And I run after her like, Emma, no, you can't do that. And I was like, sorry sir, we're having a nice time, she's had a couple of drinks, I hope that didn't offend you. And he's like, no, it's fine. And she's like, his hair is so soft, have a touch, Aliona. I'm like, can I touch your hair? And he's like, go for it. I'm like, oh, your hair is really soft, wow. And then I clock that this is a man on his own next to a river with a can of alcohol. And I was like, oh. It was just a thought in my head, but I was like, are you okay? You're on your own drinking beside a river. Is everything, you know? And he was like, oh no, yeah, I see how this looks, but no, I'm just practicing my lines. And I'm like, what lines? What do you mean? And he's like, oh, I'm an actor. Yeah, this is where I come to like just go over my lines. I know it looks weird that I'm on my own. And he was talking to himself as well. But then it all kind of clicked into place.
Okay.
So I sit down with him and I'm like, you said like a decision, I suppose it was more his decision than mine. But I sit down to chat to him because I'm still not convinced this man is okay. But at that point, I'm like, you probably are okay. And I'm just chatting to him. I'm like, oh, so you're an actor. That's super cool. Like, the one question that I now hate, I ask him and I'm like, what have I seen you in? And he was in, I think he was in Holby City.
Okay.
That's with doctors, right?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was in Holby City, I'm sure. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. Like, do you enjoy it? He's like, it's the best job in the world. And I was like, oh, nice. Yeah, I wanted to be an actor, but I didn't get into the one drama school I auditioned for. So I think I'm going to give up and just get a job at the start of summer. And he grabs me by my cheeks, by my face, and is like, don't give up. Never give up. You must never give up on your dreams.
Wow.
I know. Okay, so this is not the end yet. This is not the end yet.
Keep going. Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to, but I have no options. Like, where am I going to go if I haven't gone to drama school? This whole conversation is going in the palm of his hands. Going on in the palm of his hands. And I'm like, and my family, like, they're Russian immigrants, so if I don't train, they're not going to just let me try be an actor. Like, I have to train. And he's like, have you thought about other schools? I'm like, dude, it's August. Like, there's nowhere I can get into. Classes start in September. I kind of have to give up at this point. Maybe I can do like join, I don't know, city lit adult classes or something. He was like, no, have you thought of the poor school? And I'm like, I have never heard of that place. What the hell is that? Can I swear?
You can absolutely swear. Yes, go for
Okay. What the fuck is that? What a
it.
terrible name.
Yeah.
The poor school is in no money, poor.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I've never heard of this before, but yeah, keep going.
And he's like, what about the poor school? You could go to the poor school. And I was like, I've never heard of it. That sounds terrible. What a name. And he's like, no, 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 no. Lots of actors on the show have come from that school, and it is a really good school. You should think of applying. At the time, I had a brick phone
Mhm.
because I think I was being cool, and I was like, I don't want an iPhone, so I wrote down the poor school in my little brick phone.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I'll have a look into it. Anyway, nice chatting to you. Could you let go of my face now? And so we part ways, and that was the end of that night adventure, I think, because that friend that was crying in the distance, like, I went over to him to be like, is he okay? He just had a lot to drink, and he was just having an emotional moment of like all of us being reunited after all being separated
Yeah.
at unis, and like, you know, when people are just passionate about life when they're drunk.
Yeah, of course.
We all went home that night. Nothing really happened on our adventure. We just thought we'd go on an adventure, and we just ended up drunk by a river. But the next morning, I look at my block phone and I look at my notes, and I'm like, huh, the poor school. What am I doing with my future? Let me have a look at this poor school place. And I looked it up, and they still had one more audition day left in like 3 days' time to get onto their acting program starting end of September. So I was like, you know
Oh,
what? Let's just go for it. And I went for it, and Claire, I got in, and that is how my acting journey started. And that was my decision that I made that absolutely changed my whole life. To
but
get off on the bus when there were fireworks in the background and just talk to this random man that I thought was having a really rough time.
and even your instinct, that gut instinct to kind of go, you know what, I'm going to sit with him. Because you could easily go, I don't want to talk to the stranger on a bench who's, because it could have been anyone. It could have been anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
But your instinct to go, no, I think I'm going to keep talking to him, and I think that's really important. Do you believe in things like fate or the universe, or do you
Yeah,
just, so you do? And do you think that's what that was? The universe was throwing you someone to kind of change
absolutely.
things?
I feel like that is the moment when that belief in the universe and how things align, I had no choice but to believe in that. Yes, it is like a coincidence after coincidence, but it was like sequential coincidences that led to this moment that involved us having been to Glastonbury and just wanting to go on a crazy adventure, getting on a bus, seeing where it leads us, getting off because there were fireworks,
Yeah.
not being able to go into the park, so going down to the river, and then my friend going up to this man and him being there. Yeah, absolutely.
It's that way
Absolutely.
where I guess in life, it's like the more that you say yes to things instead
Mm.
of saying no, the doors open. Now, sometimes those doors open and they don't lead down particularly good paths because that's just life. But even the bad choices, I believe, can actually change you for the better. And I think that that's okay,
I heard a quote the other day, and it was, "You either win or you learn.
Yes.
You never lose.
Absolutely. No,
You win or learn."
yeah, you never ever lose. In terms of giving up though, because it's, when I was listening to your story, when you hear rejection or you hear no's, and that whole idea of going, well, I better give up then, until that guy held your face and was like, don't give up.
Literally.
How do you feel now? Because being an actor, being a creative person, you set yourself up for rejection all the time. That's part of the creative process, right? How do you feel about the idea or notion of giving up now? What are your thoughts around that?
I feel like I would now be that guy. Like, at the time, I was like, "Why on earth is this man?" And he'd been drinking, like, a beer. I don't think he was particularly drunk, but
Yeah.
I was like, "Why on earth is this man holding my face?" And he's so passionate that, like, he convinced me because of his conviction of grabbing hold and saying that. I feel like I'm now that person that would also do that to someone. The notion of giving up, someone asked us for advice on a stream the other day, and we said, if you can imagine yourself doing anything other than acting, do it. If something else is going to bring you happiness, do it. If there is nothing else on this planet that will bring you joy, and you know that deep down,
Mm.
don't give up. You can't. Because what's the point in living a life where you get to the end of it and you go, oh, there's that one thing I wish I'd gone for, that major thing I wish I'd gone for, and I didn't do it. May as well try. So yeah,
You're
I am that man now.
you are so right. But what would you say to someone now? I get told this a lot. So I'm like you. I completely share the same vibe as you. I'm like, go for it, go and get it. Doesn't mean you're not insecure and scared. We are human, we feel
Oh,
fear.
yeah.
But there are some people out there who have told me, over many years, like, yeah, but I've got bills to pay. I've got a family, but but there's lots of buts in between them and being a musician or them and following drama. What would you say to those people though that are like, but, because that's hard to get out of. That's a cycle.
Yeah, I'd say I understand the fear because change is so scary and risk is so scary. But there's very few times that taking risks needs to align with your gut, that gut feeling, your instinct. So I'm not saying take all the risks, but if your heart is screaming, do this thing, but your brain is saying, oh, but bills, etc., you're hurting yourself by ignoring your heart.
Yeah.
And I think what Jen always says is, run. What is it? Run. Throw your heart out there and run up to. I really want to call her over and be like, Jen, what is that phrase? Might come in to cook at the end, and I'll ask her. Maybe I'll text her.
Please do. Please do. Please text her. Again, because I want to know. I tell you why, like, I think it's apt that we're talking about this now. And again,
Yeah.
I feel like this is a universe thing. Because as you know, I've made it all the way over to LA, and last year when I was talking to Jen, I was making the moves, So now I'm here and I've been thinking a lot recently. I'm starting to put time into performance, learning about improv, acting. Acting is so therapeutic. Oh my God, I love it so much. It's the best therapy, I've learned a lot about myself through that. But sometimes when I'm standing on a stage doing stand up or I'm doing silly improv, I'm not earning money from all of these things. I'm thinking, what am I doing? But I can't stop doing it. What would you suggest, like in those moments of doubt? I know that it's like you've said, keep following your heart no matter what, but at what point do you kind of marry up, okay, I got to be an adult versus, paying the bills versus whatever?
First of all, can I just say, doing stand-up comedy is the bravest thing. I have so much respect for you. So much respect for you.
Love it. I love
Like,
stand-up.
deeply. I wish you could see how much, like, I would squeeze you and say, I have so much respect for you. It's so brave. What? I forgot the question.
Yeah, like what in those moments, how do you marry up
Oh, no, yeah.
being like a, functioning human? I didn't say the word adulting because I know you hate that word. I was like, I kind of want to say it. I just want to say it to annoy. For those listening, she hates the word adulting. Cannot say it. I've only said it twice now. We're not saying it again.
Not just that. What's the other word that you used in all seriousness and I told you never use that word again?
Peeps.
And I told her peeps needs to die a death.
Let's
2010. No one needs it.
Let's sidestep for a second from the serious conversation. I've got a feeling I know where this podcast is going to go all over the place because my brain is certainly all over the place all the time. Okay, 1 second. Hold on, we're sidestepping. First of all, I know I hate the word adulting, but just explain to the people out there why you hate the word peeps. Why?
Because it's cringe, because it's from about 2010. Maybe you were like, oh, I can't believe there's an actual date. Maybe 2014. I don't know, but the internet moves fast, and it was a word that was used a while back, and it doesn't need to keep being used. Like you used it, and I was like, oh, I felt it physically.
Look, guys,
it's a red flag. It's not a red flag, but it is, I would say, an amber flag.
Oh no, I amber flagged. No, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm feeling like you might have almost cancelled this podcast. I feel like you're just humoring me now. Like, I'll just do it.
People are gonna like comment this like, oh shit, I won't use it anymore either. I feel like I've cancelled myself for saying that about peeps. I have strong feelings about peeps, and I stand by that.
I'm
Don't
gonna
use it.
say now, sorry if I'm about to do something that might annoy you, but I know you have a great Twitch community. You control those gals, you know, and you can. I mean, I'm voting for a peeps emote.
No, no, no. I would die. No, no.
I vote for a peeps emote, and imagine spamming that in the chat, and you're just like, I think we should bring it back, Aliona. I think we
I
should bring
think
it.
I should have the ability to ban anyone that uses peeps from my life.
You have been warned. You have been warned. Anyway, to come back, like,
Anyway,
I guess, like, I'm kind of thinking, when
I have an
do
answer. Go
okay,
on,
you
I have
got
an
an
answer.
answer. So to just go back, when do I should I start being concerned, or should I just keep following
Okay,
the
so Jen said, throw your heart in front of you. What in front of you? Throw your heart in front of you and run ahead to catch it.
Oh, I
My
like
advice is things will fall into place. And I truly believe that. But I say that as a privileged person. Like, I've not come from a rich background whatsoever. Immigrant parents, started from the bottom. Now we're here. But there are so many other privileges that I like. I could list them, but I mean, you can see most of them.
yes.
My life has been take that risk and things will work out. And to be honest, I've kind of stopped doing that lately, and I'm about to start again because I've similar to you, I've had that thought process of I've lost who I was a couple years ago when I took that risk in my earlier 20s because life happens. And when you move out from your parents' home, for instance, suddenly there's so many things that you have responsibilities over that, yeah, you feel like you can't take as many risks. But so far, my evidence in my lived experience has shown that it works out. Here's another example of why I strongly believe that. When I was in my final school year at school doing my A levels, I I had, as everyone does, an unrequited romance. And so I spent
Ah.
time, yeah, we've
Been
all been
there,
there.
done that 10 million times. Go on.
Yeah. And I was too busy with that, with her, then focusing on my studies, and too busy partying with friends to focus on my studies. And as I mentioned, like I have a degree in psychology. There was no way I was going to get the grades to get into university. No way. And what ended up happening, but I was myself in classes and teachers liked me. So what ended happening, my plan was to just learn my entire course subject. And I was missing school. I was even getting texts from teachers to be like, come into class today. Come on, you need to show up. What was I saying? I was missing school. There was a point to that. Oh yeah, so my plan was to learn my entire course the week before my A level exams. And A levels are hard. The week before my A level exams, when I was very much doomed, and I had higher predicted grades from my teachers than what I knew I was going to achieve, I got appendicitis and I was taken to hospital and I had to have my appendix removed, so I didn't take my exams, my A level exams. So I was given my predicted grades, which were much better than what I would have got. And that's how I got into university. So my lived experience is things just fall into place. They work out. Again, place of privilege, but still, I truly think that. And I think maybe it's something in yourself. Like if you fool yourself into believing that, everyone else around you starts to believe it, and then it does work out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I have two halves of my brain. There's one half that is very much like that, and I've lived my pretty much my whole adult life going, fuck it, I'm gonna do that. I moved to London, whatever, take a chance, run a business, like change my career, whatever. I've done quite a lot. I've lived like I feel like I've lived a whole other life before I had this life here, and then I came here. Then there's another half of my brain, and I don't know if you're like this at all or if Jen is, but like I need to control things as well, because sometimes when things get so out of control, my brain goes no, and I kind of feel like I have to bring everything back into focus and bullet point it, and my brain almost can't. What was that?
Fear.
Yeah, the like fear makes my brain spiral,
Is it fear of uncertainty?
Yes, 100%. Because whilst uncertainty is wild, it's crazy, it's colorful, it can be very exciting. Um, I also don't, I also don't kind of like it. Like, so
Yeah.
I feel very scared a lot of the time, and I'd be like, what the hell am I doing? Do you get like that? Do you feel genuine fear over the decisions that you make as well? Because you seem like someone who's like, you know what, I'm going to follow my heart, follow my path.
I'm an anxious potato. So I've just finished my anxiety therapy that the NHS gave me like a course of it and graduated. I no longer have their anxiety. Uh,
Nice.
but a major, and I went because I was having anxiety attacks, but a
Mm.
major focus in my therapy was fear of uncertainty. And that when I'm afraid of when I have that fear of uncertainty, what I try and do is control everything, and I try and predict the future. I try and like look at like I will research people similar to me who have been in the industry for a bit longer to be like, okay, I feel like I'm collecting data to predict the future, which doesn't actually work because you never know what's going to happen. But I'm like, oh, so it worked out for that person, so it can work out for me. Like that is me trying to control that fear of uncertainty. But now I know that about myself, I try and nip it in the bud. And what me and my therapist sort of landed on is it's worked out so many times in the past. So the data showing me that it's quite likely it's going to work out in the future. Just trust that.
That's great. You know what? Yes. Because you know what I started doing over the last couple of years, especially, I started going, I mean, I love astrology and tarot, but I started to go down the YouTube rabbit hole of like, I need to look at my chart and understand my chart, and I need to look at tarot and do all the tarot. And whilst that's all very fun, and I absolutely love it all, I can't use it as a crutch, to like lean back on because I can't control anything. So that's a good,
Yeah.
yeah, looking at your own patterns and going, well, things have worked out for you. So the chances are they will again. I like the term anxious potato. It's the cutest
Jen
thing.
came up with that. Yeah. It is sweet, isn't it?
Of course, Jen came up with it because she's so bloody cute. I love anxious potato. What? So let's
You
sidestep
can
for.
be an anxious potato. I think that's why she came up with it.
I want to be an anxious. I'm in the potato gang. I'm
You
like
are. You are.
starch squad, like right here. Starch squad. So, what kind of, if you're an anxious potato, what kind of potato are you? Are you mashed, boiled,
A boiled,
fried? Oh, you
a boiled
boiled.
potato.
I'd say I'm mashed. Yeah, but I'm a bit like, ugh, like I'm
Yeah,
not.
I've got my shit together a bit more than that.
Oh,
Like
okay, thanks.
mashed potato that's anxious is just falling apart. Whereas a boiled one, like the skin is still keeping me together,
That's true. That's
but
true.
you prod me a bit too hard and I will fall apart.
I like that. Okay, one day I hope to be back to like a solid form. Like
I hope that for you too.
at the moment, I'm mashed. What do you think Jen is as a potato? How would you describe Jen?
That's a great question. The thing is with Jen, whatever I answer, there is a correct answer and I don't know what it is, and she'll have a go at me if I say the wrong one. So I don't know what I meant to say. Like I feel like her immediate reaction would be jacket potato, but she'll have no reason. Can I call her in and ask her?
Yes, you can.
Jen, can you come here, please? She's running.
I like how you're asking permission before asking her a really ridiculous question.
Jen, right. Claire really likes your phrase anxious potato,
Dankeschön.
but if you were to if so no, I won't give you our answers. If you were to be a type of potato as your anxious potato, which type are you?
Oh, oh, my instinct, my gut instinct, I haven't thought this through, is a new potato.
Oh, so not like a cooked version of a potato.
Oh no, I cooked new potato,
In which way was it cooked?
boiled.
Well, that's what I said.
And it's like,
She's going.
For some reason, a new boiled potato, making that sound kind of makes sense, and I don't know why. Like,
And it's like it's got more space to flop around the
Also,
saucepan. It's
your
like,
your anxiety is being the potato in the saucepan.
why not?
Great.
Right.
I said there was a right and wrong answer with you, and I didn't want to answer incorrectly for you, but I was like, I think she'll say jacket potato. I don't know why.
No, that's a very sturdy potato.
You're not a sturdy
I'm not
potato.
a sturdy potato.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy jacket potatoes more because they are sturdier. They make me feel sturdy as a person.
Right, get this, babe, before you leave. Claire said she's a mashed potato.
mm.
And a character assassin gets some self-worth.
Oh my god, I feel like I've been judged this day by two people I really like a lot. I'm like, oh my, get some self-worth. Oh my god, I'm more together than that, Claire. Jesus Christ, you guys. Oh my god, I don't want you to, like, honestly, I would never hire you as my therapist. Maybe my cooks. Maybe
That'd be
like
great.
maybe you could make some potatoes for me, but maybe not analyze me. Like,
I think people are going to agree with us. Mashed potato is like
I
that.
think it's the best potato.
Oh yeah. I'm not judging like the flavor.
Best mashed potato and cheese is goated, but calling oneself mashed potato. That's
look,
not it.
I taste good, but I'm a bit fucked up. So that's that's where my level is, and I think most people close to me would probably agree. So, and it looks fine, it looks good on the plate, but as soon as you put your fork in it, you're like, oh, this is weird. Like, yeah, that's exactly where I am.
If that's where you're at, that's okay. We don't judge.
Hello, my name is Wee Claire, and I'm a weird texture. And that's basically why I am a weird textured starch squad. I think we need to rename.
I like that.
We need to rename all of our communities on Twitch Starch Squad. Like,
Oh no, but ours are called gay cons, and I love that.
I love that. Well, I'm just the wee. Ours is the wee squad. Like, it's just. Can I ask you something about your Twitch community? Let's talk about Twitch for a second.
Can I just 1 second? Jen, you didn't close the door. Please come and close the door.
I love that this is the most domesticated podcast I've ever recorded. Like, Jen!
So sorry about my assistant. She's new.
It's no problem. God, you can't just, I mean, it's just different. It's honestly, these days, you can't get the work, can't get the good. Anyway, can't get the staff. Let me ask you about your community, because I've seen some things about sharting. Is this correct? I missed that. I do sit in on your streams, but I missed this whole sharting debacle. Shall we call
There's
it?
nothing about sharting as a verb. It's not the verb. It's the name of Shadowheart, just shortened.
Ah, now I understand. I was like, are they okay? Like, is everything okay over there at the gay with the gay corns with the gals?
It's because it was quite funny though. Before the game was released, we would see on Reddit people saying, "Oh, what's Jennifer English's reaction going to be like when they find out, or the Shadowheart actress when she finds out the nickname we have for her?" But we also had that nickname simultaneously while recording, so we love it.
Love it.
Some people take offense, but we love it.
I love it. Like, well, I like anything ridiculous and silly. Like, so I was like, this is amazing. I need to ask them about this. Jesus Christ, I missed this whole thing. There's like swaths of things that I missed. I want to go. So I'm gonna.
Shark Nation is another name for the community, or Sharty Party.
See, this is where I got confused, because I've seen Sharty Party, and I've seen Shark Nation.
Same.
And I will probably be mentioning it at several panels as well.
Right.
We're absolutely going to have to talk about the Sharty Party. Like, I can't wait.
I was thinking, like, why has the community changed names so many times? And then I was like, because me and Jen are the ADHD couple are the ones that are like the heads, the ambassadors of this community. Of course, the name is going to change every 3 months. Well, very ADHD of us.
I've talked about ADHD with Jen, and I told you before we started recording this podcast, basically almost all of my friends are ADHD, you know, and I just love the way the ADHD brains work. Like, I do, and for some reason can just get the vibe. And I am not ADHD myself, but I think I grew up in a pretty ADHD household. Like, Aliona's like, I know that I'm not. I'm so like, I mean, or maybe I've just overcompensated. Do you think there's a thing where you can overcompensate if
Yeah, it's called masking. Yeah, of course.
because I am like oh god, here we go. I'm a mashed potato. I'm about
I'm
to
convinced you have ADHD. I'm not even joking. I am convinced.
You think so?
That's why you brought all those people, and you say it's in your family.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's genetic.
Yeah,
And
100%.
maybe if you're not the way you grew up, the environment you grew up in, you exhibit those traits. But my theory, I think eventually will move the same way we've kind of accepted that sexuality is a spectrum.
Yeah.
I think we will accept neurodivergence is a spectrum in the coming like couple of decades.
100%.
And yeah, some of us are a lot further along than others, but I think everyone sits on that spectrum. But yeah, of course, you overcompensate and you mask in order to function and keep up with society. As long as if that works for you, that works. As long as there's no shame or guilt attached.
No, not at all. Like, no, I don't feel any shame or guilt attached to. I mean, I think I used to when I was younger. So when I was like in my teens, into my 20s, because of the kind of household I grew up in, it was a bit tumultuous and it wasn't the happiest household. And because of the way everything was, it's almost like my brain sort of needed to kind of focus in harder, and control. But also I also felt more guilt when I was younger. Now I don't really care. Now I'm much better about talking about my feelings, how I feel, and communicating those, even if it makes somebody uncomfortable. I don't want to make someone uncomfortable, but I would rather speak up and say something about how I feel. Yeah, exactly. Like, and not everybody wants to always hear that, but I would rather be real with people. I know that's maybe not a, but I would rather just go, hey, this is, yeah. I mean, hey, somebody asked me how I was doing today, right? And they WhatsApped me. It's a friend of mine, but I don't see them very often. They said to me, yeah, like, how are you doing over there? And I went, shall I be honest with you? And then I kind of was honest. No, I didn't go into too much depth, but I just went, yeah, I've been feeling like this, and this, and this, because like, I don't know, I think it's better to just always go like this. That's what hurt me when I was in my 20s, smiling through it. Are you quite upfront? I feel like you're quite an upfront person. Are you quite honest?
That impression?
I don't know, by telling me before we even started the podcast that you fucking hated the word peeps. Sorry, Claire, can I just say something?
I said it off podcast though. I didn't shame you in front of an audience. You did that.
I'm a mashed potato, Aliona, right? I'm a
Millennial.
I loved it because I was like, oh, I like the fire. I was like, okay, all right, okay, sure, okay. So would you say you've always been like that, quite upfront? Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I've got like a bunch of thoughts in my head that I want to say.
Well, go for it, all at once or one at a time. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
We'll see what comes out.
Yes.
I have always been like that. Okay, I have really bad memory. I think it's an ADHD trait. I don't know, or maybe it's just like a traumatic childhood trait. So I don't know if I've always been like that. I feel like some of my friends will probably say yes. I can't lie because I think my face will say that I'm lying, so I just don't. But it's also Russian culture, to be honest. Politeness in the British sense isn't politeness, so smiling at strangers is a very strange thing to do. You'd be considered quite odd because you don't know that person, so why would you smile at them? When someone asks you how are you, that's taken at face value, so you answer honestly. So the whole British way of saying you're right, like, that confused me for years, because I'd be like, and someone's walking past you in a corridor, I was like, you're right, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm having a good day, I think it's okay. Oh, you're walking away. Like, how am I meant to answer that?
Interesting.
In this 2-second interaction. So I think it's part heritage, like the culture I grew up with, but part, yeah, that's who I am. But it's liberating, isn't it?
Yeah, I
find it liberating.
Yeah, I do. I think I used to feel that repressing things and getting on with it and putting on a smile I wanted to make everybody else happy. But what ends up happening is the frustration builds inside, and then I feel resentful. It's not happiness, it's just resentfulness, you know. And so it's not that I don't care about other people's comfort. I care very deeply about people, very deeply. But I do feel like good friends, good family, people that really love you will understand and hold your feelings and go, okay. And that's what
Yeah.
good partners are for. I'm sure Jen does that with you and good friends, you know. And so I can tell now it's almost a barometer. If like a friend doesn't hold that, I'm not judging them. I'm just like, okay, that's not you. That's not you.
Not where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not where
Yeah.
you're at. But I like depth in my friendships and my relationships. I like to really get in there and like, oh, we're all like together. Do you know? I don't do the kind of fake.
talk.
Yeah, oh God, I fucking hate small talk. Like I cannot fucking stand it. My whole job is sometimes small talk. Do you find that? How do you get around small talk in your job?
That's why I think you're such a good interviewer, because you don't do small talk.
No, hate small talk. Like that way where I don't know if you'll ever face it one day if you're doing maybe more American interviews. No offense to our American pals. My American friends are great and awesome. But that kind of like, oh my God, so you're gonna tell me about the role? Tell me about it's like, do you really want to keep talking about the same bullshit over and over and over again? Not that that job is bullshit or what you've done is bullshit.
Yeah. But it's the I get you. Wait, I want to ask, how do I deal with that? I do have a funny way. I used to, when people would say you're right, or like, you know, when you hug someone, they go, how are you? I pretend I don't hear.
Nice.
Just like imagining, what if I get interviewed on a red carpet and they say, tell me about the role? I'll be like, until they just ask me a better question. That's how you deal with it.
You're my new favorite. You're my new hero. Like I will follow you to the ends of the earth. If you did that, that would become the best meme. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. So, what are you wearing?
Yeah. Clothes.
Clothes sounds like a. Oh my God, Aliona. Clothes sounds like a great designer. Where did you get clothes? Can you imagine? Could just keep going. Like,
I think that's what I would do. I would honestly, and I do that. If people, I think it happened in an interview, if someone asks, or just in general, when someone asks me small talk questions, I give them one word answers until they ask me. And I think like maybe I am being difficult, and you say like you really care about people's comfort. I do care about people's comfort.
Same.
But I wish they would care about their own comfort more and ask more interesting like we would all benefit from less small talk, in my opinion. I agree with being polite, but if you're going to ask me how am I, I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer honestly. And I think I'm really authentic with my friends and with Jen. And I think I've encouraged Jen to be more authentically herself as we've been together. It's freeing and it's better for everyone around you. And I would prefer if we were to meet up and you were in a bad place, lead with that, be honest about that, and we can start like that's the starting point. So we can help, you know, we can hold that for you, as opposed to you pretending that you're fine and just clenching all those feelings inside of you and then going around the corner and crying.
Well,
I think we should be more authentic.
That's called being human, you know. And I love the way you're like, yeah, you yourself are going, yeah, if you feel like that, lead with that. I'm the same, because I find, and this is why we do our jobs, and especially being an actor, you know, I'm sure you're going to relate to this. Human beings, as shit as we can be, and with the world all on fire, we can be very interesting, inspiring creatures as well. And the depth of people surprises me every time I speak to people. I love the feeling of, okay, I know you, but now I know you. Like now I like to scrape under the surface. And some of the most interesting conversations are when people do sit with me and go, yeah, like this is the shit that's happening to me. And that's okay. It's not a negative thing at all. Not at all. I like how you and Jen have rubbed off on each other really well as well, which is like a good sign of a great relationship as well, you know.
We even have this tactic of like when we meet new people, we send Jen in first because she can small talk, and then I can, and she brings me in when we're at the actual good conversation, because otherwise it might scare people off because I'm so unwilling to compromise on my no small talk. I'll pretend a little bit for like 60 seconds and then I'll either lose interest I can't fake it. I'll either lose interest or I'll just cut to the chase and be like, great, can we talk about the real stuff now?
Yes, I have a trick for it. So if I'm at a party or an event and it's not work, and you can usually tell within a few minutes if you're gonna vibe or not. I at this age, I'm like, I know. I will go, oh God, I'm really sorry. Like, I just need to go to the bathroom. It's, it doesn't work when you've just walked in, obviously, but like if I've been there for a while.
It does.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Oh, sorry, I've just walked in. I must go to the bathroom. And I will sit in the bathroom, literally in the stall. And I might go to the bathroom, but I might just sit there and go, and just like have empty thoughts for a while, go back in, and then just choose a different person. It's like starting a new level in a video game. Just start the new level. Start
great.
again. So that's my trick.
I do go to the bathroom as soon as I arrive to a function though, but that's because I wash my hands.
Of course. Well, you're more practical. I'm just going, how can I get out of this as soon as possible? Like,
Say you need to wash your hands.
yeah, sorry, I gotta wash my. Sorry, but I'm quite good at small talk, but it's like pulling teeth. Okay, what are your apart from worky questions?
Wait. I've got 2 more things to say. Can you hold on?
Please say them. Yes.
Still remember?
Yes, I remember. I'm gonna write them. I've been taking notes. That's how I keep track. Go on, say your things. I want to know.
Now I've already forgotten one of them.
Go for it.
Oh no. So just then when you were talking about the love of like interviewing and finding the depth in people, which not everyone has, which always amazes me. When you meet someone with no depth, I find them so fascinating, and I'll interview them. I'm like, come on, you must have thoughts about something. I once went on a date with a guy that had no depth, and at one point I brought up the most controversial opinion to be like, what do you think? And he was like, yeah, it's terrible. And I was like, well, I kind of see that point of view, to just trigger something in him, and he just nothing, no response, just like, no, it's the worst. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into the controversial opinion I brought up. Somebody, our ADHD coach, said the other day, the meaning of life is to enjoy the passage of time. I thought that was gorgeous because, we're always looking for, what is it? Is it happiness? Is it success? Blah, blah, blah. But just enjoying the passage of time, which brings me back to my other point. So that's why it was so beautiful what you were saying about like that passion. You can just see it in you when you were talking about the depth in people, and when you talk to them, discovering that. It is, it's the whole mindfulness thing. It's about enjoying the moment you're in. And you were saying earlier, when you're taking risks and you're doing stand-up and improv and all these things, but that's not paying the bills, does it have to? Or not all our hobbies need to pay the bills. Not all the things that bring us joy have to pay the bills. Me and Jen pay to go to choir. There's a performance at the end of it. We don't even know if we're going to go to the performance, because I'm not there for the performance. I'm there every week, sitting in the community of people, my local community, and just singing with them, which is a real joy. I'm not there for the destination, I'm there for the journey. And so just going back, because you asked what if people take risks but it doesn't pay off financially, but does it always have to pay off financially? Is if you're enjoying yourself, like, let's not get caught up in capitalism and the end goal of always making money. You don't need to.
You're right. I like that quote about the passage of time. That puts things into, from everything you've said, puts it into perspective. I think we live in such a goal-based society, which there are pros and cons.
Results-based.
Very results-based. And I've always naturally been quite a results-based kind of person. I enjoy goals. I enjoy results. But yeah, trying to kind of sit back and go, do you know what? I kind of just like doing this. I said to Jen recently, I sent Jen a little WhatsApp. She was asking me about a recent stand-up gig that I did.
I know you sent her a WhatsApp. We're next to each other like all the time.
Of course, God, I forget what it's like to be in a close relationship. I'm like, sitting with my scented candles and the cat. So I'm just lying starfished looking at my projector most of the time going, oh. So when I sent Jen that WhatsApp, and for those who are listening, I did this stand-up gig. It was 10 minutes. Usually it's material that works, but the people just were not laughing. It was just one of those nights for whatever reason, because laughter is infectious, kind of like when you're doing theatre, emotion is infectious amongst a crowd, right? First of all, I was devastated by it because you come off stage and you're like, oh God, I put everything into this and I was so excited. But then I thought about it afterwards and I was like, I just enjoyed doing it. Fuck it. Like, I really enjoyed it and I learned a lot and it was for me. And you're completely right. Just to enjoy it. Just enjoy it. But it's hard, man, because it's like not easy to just be like, cool. Like, the brain gets in the way all the time. That's what I
I rate you so highly for doing stand-up. I think that's the biggest risk. Like, you're so vulnerable. That's yourself on stage. When we act, we're other characters. So
That's
blame
true.
the character.
But I always found, though, Aliona, and maybe you can give me some tips because I'm now doing acting classes. I used to find being other characters more vulnerable. Now, I'll tell you why that is. Because when I am doing other characters, I'm accessing really deep parts of myself, traumatic parts, angry parts that I don't show anybody. I don't show people anger. I might not show them tears. That feels more vulnerable to me than just telling a funny story. Does that make sense?
Does make sense. But do you not find that cathartic?
Yes. Yes, 100%. I have cried so much in these last few months doing my acting class. Oh my God, like it's been wonderful. Do you still get that from acting, that feeling of release, I guess?
Absolutely, absolutely. So last year, there was like a month when I'd done a couple of acting jobs where I said to Jen, God, I've traveled so much lately. And then I looked back and I was like, oh my God, I haven't. I know it was auditions as well. It was all the different characters that I'd either auditioned for or just played. They were in different locations. So in my brain, I'd convinced myself that I'd done all these things
I love
that I had. So it's that journey your brain goes on when you're acting, that you think you've had all these different experiences, but you haven't. But mirror neurons in our brain, we do think we have.
Yeah.
No, it's not mirror neurons. Mirror neurons is when you can see something happening and think it's happening to you as well. But the imagination is what I meant, which is a really fascinating concept. I'm reading a book about it. But the imagination is so powerful that I guess there is a capacity. I think I'm worrying a little bit because is it method acting you're doing? That's my only concern.
No, I'm doing a beginner's acting course, and we started to touch on Meisner, and that's where,
I see.
Yeah, which I found very interesting. And it's like I'm wearing a t-shirt, you're wearing a t-shirt, and you have to, yeah, it's interesting to learn these new techniques. I like the feeling of, I spent 10 years in therapy and I got a lot out of it, man. But I feel I've got more out of the acting classes. Does that make sense? Then
totally see that. And at drama schools, they always do say this is drama school, this is not therapy. But it is. It is.
It's so, as you understand so many parts of yourself. I know now when I cry, how I can cry. It's interesting to access that and go, I know what memory, I know what feeling I'm touching on here. What makes me angry, or the characters you kind of like identify with. I bloody love it. Like I love doing it for fun. It's so good.
I can't cry on demand.
Oh, can you not?
No, I use a tear stick.
What's a tear stick? Is this like a Men in Black type thing, or what is a tear stick? What's that?
And also, I feel like tear sticks, people, there's not a stigma behind it. What's the word? Is it a stigma? I don't know. People don't talk about the fact how often tear sticks are used on set, and they really are. It's just they rub something in the corners of your eyes. It's a bit like Tiger Balm or Vapor Rub, and it just makes you cry.
It induces the tear. Okay.
Yeah. Because if you're going for multiple takes and you might be having to cry for an hour,
yeah,
or even longer depending on what the scene is, you can't be expected to just do that. I think that's like near abusive to ask an actor to cry for an entire day.
Oh,
like emotionally, who can do that?
It's very like God. There's because I've only if I cry, it's maybe in a moment. I've not done anything. I'm not a professional actor at all, but I can imagine because I just get so burnt out and exhausted after those classes because it's a lot of thinking and emoting and listening because it's a lot of listening to your scene partners. It's a lot to think about, but I wanted to wrap up the podcast with this though. Okay.
Can I one more thing on that?
Anything
what
for you,
said-
100%. Please go for it.
what you said about acting, I find it really freeing.
That's right, freeing.
I find it really freeing to be different characters and go through the situation as them.
Mhm.
That's the thing that for me is, and I don't know if you're finding this, the catharsis of it is getting to live so many different lives essentially, but be safe in the vehicle that is living that life. It's not you. But also I think we should remove the stigma of crying using a tear stick and like not expect that of actors, not expect them to go through that turmoil every time.
No, it's your choice if you want to, but like at the same time, like those are the tools that you should be free to use. Like so. I'm not an actor, so when you're talking about that, I'm like,
You are. If you're acting, you're an actor. You're an actor.
Oh, okay.
Grab you by the cheeks.
Right.
You're an actor.
I'm not sure. I feel like so you're gonna get to grab me in the cheeks in person soon, so you can grab these cheeks and like this and tell me and just tell me to shut the fuck up and stop being a mashed potato. Basically, start squad. Yeah. Now, at the end of the podcast, I will tell you a tip from the previous guest that they have passed on to this current episode for you, and then you're going to give me a tip to pass on for the next guest. We don't know who the next guest will be at this present moment because schedules change. So this is a tip from the wonderful Griffin Burns, who plays Child in Genshin Impact. Great actor, does a lot of voice work. He said, be your goofiest, most authentic self. Create art for you. That's like...
Fuck, you took my one!
No!
Yeah, like be authentic was gonna be my one.
Griffin, god damn it.
Great advice, Griffin. Great advice.
Okay then, well you're just gonna have to think of something else on the spot.
Use tear sticks if you need to.
I'm gonna use that. Use tear sticks if you
Never
need
be
to.
ashamed to use a tear stick.
Okay, we're gonna pass that on to the next person. You happy with that?
Yeah, because also, what are you going to say to them? Like, oh, I interviewed Aliona Baranova. She's, well, she plays the squirrel in Baldur's Gate. Well, no, she's Jennifer English's girlfriend. She was a director on the game. Like, if you say that, they'll be like, oh, a director says use tear sticks. Great.
Perfect. I can't wait to see what they say about the tear sticks. It's gonna be really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna pass that on. Please tell us where we can find you online. Obviously, you guys stream on Twitch. So what is your Twitch handle?
Jen and Aliona, spelled JenandAliona. It's the same on YouTube. And we have a Twitter page for updates of when we're streaming and when we're pushing it back because we're outdoors and we're enjoying ourselves.
I do the same. I go into my Discord and go, hey guys, gonna be 10 minutes late. Hey guys, gonna be 30 minutes late, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like, they know. When I say 7 o'clock or something, I'm like, within the realm of 7, which could be
yeah.
Give or take an hour.
I love that our community has a poll of how late we're going to be to every stream. See, we're all our authentic selves and they roll with it. And I think that's okay.
I love
because also when people are late, for me personally, it's like respectfully not to jobs, but casual stuff. I'm like, I can entertain myself. I can enjoy the passage of time while I wait for you. You asking about socials?
Yes.
Oh, also, I've been playing with my rings, in case you wonder why I've been looking down this whole time. I've been playing with my rings, and this octopus someone sent us.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god, that looks amazing.
Look, it's got a little face.
And it looks like it feels good as well.
It does, but it's a bit noisy, so I've been really gentle with it. I've just been like splaying out the what are they called?
The tentacles. Love it.
The tentacles on my leg.
Thank you very much for doing the podcast, guys. I'm going to put all of the links that were mentioned in the description and YouTube if you're watching along on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe and do all that stuff.
Can I give my socials? Because I only gave mine with Jen. I am my
100%. 100%. Go, go, go.
I swear I am my own personality outside of Jen.
Yes, please.
Included. What is it? On Twitter, Aliona Baranova 1. On Instagram, _Aliona Baranova, because someone stole it. And on TikTok, also Aliona Baranova 1. But you can always, just search my name and I'll show up, because there is another one with my name, but I think I got a little bit more attention than she did because she's an artist. So she changed her surname.
Got it. Okay, we've got all the socials, so you can follow Jen and Aliona separately as well. We're going to put that all in the YouTube description, so make sure you follow everything. Very important. Follow everything. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I knew it was going to be wonderful, and it has been wonderful. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking my podcast virginity.
I hope it was good. Was it good for you?
It was good for me. It was great for me. Was it good for you?
Yeah, it was nice and long as well. So not as long as Jen, I have to say.
I've heard that feedback before.
Guys, thank you for listening along. This has been Hot Pod Time Machine. I have been Claire. This has been Aliona, and we will see you again soon. Take care.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Hot Pod Time Machine.